Hello everyone, my name is Silver Willowing and welcome. Today we're going to talk how to train your dragon homecoming. This is the counterpart to the optimistic review, so this is what some of you might call a pessimistic review. And I predict that this video will be quite longer than the other review. There's just a lot more to take apart from this short than there is to praise. And that doesn't mean that one review is more honest than the other, I guess. But I'll leave that for you to figure out. In any case, I'm going to kind of dissect the movie to the best of my abilities in this review. I'm not doing this to attack your opinion. If you did enjoy the movie, I am just doing this to kind of get some words out on the movie and its flaws, because there are quite a few. If you're not up for that, feel free to check out the other review where I'm just praising the movie to high heaven. You can feel free to choose. You can also watch them both, which I'll appreciate very much, but it's completely up to you. And also remember, this is just my opinion, my thoughts that I put down on this particular review. I'm gonna warn about spoilers, because I'll be talking about key plot points in the short film. So if you haven't watched it yet, you probably should do that first. If you don't care about spoilers though and haven't watched it, feel free to join me for the ride. And if you have watched it, well, just be welcome here. Let's get right to it. I'm gonna tell you why Homecoming is awful. Let's just cut right to the chase and talk about Hiccup's and Astrid's parenting skills. It's one of the first things we see in the short film, since it's opened up with a look into the household of the chief. Hiccup's youngest child, a son, Nothing? What kind of name is that, by the way? I guess I shouldn't be surprised, since his father is named Hiccup. This child seems to be somewhere between 3 to 6 years old by my estimate, and is very trusting of the words his parents speak. The older child, however, a daughter, Zephyr, is somewhere between the age of 6 to 8, if I should give a guess. She poses a threat to the peaceful household. This kid has found the Book of Dragons, the ancient tome written by Book the Bold many years ago. We can imagine that Hiccup and Astrid have taught their children nothing but love for dragons through their lives. But the discovery of this book apparently makes Zephyr forget all that and blindly believe the words written. The writers of this short film are clearly trying to make Zephyr the embodiment of Astrid when she was that age. However, that idea is completely ridiculous. Astrid was raised in the middle of war. The Burkians were at war with dragons, and Astrid had to grow up fast in a deadly world. She was forced to be tough-skinned. Zephyr, however, was raised in peaceful times, without even a shadow of war. So this short film is trying to convince us that a stubborn, confident, and determined attitude is hereditary? Seems like a bit of a stretch. I know children can be unpredictable, and you can't always raise them exactly as you intend. But for these two loving parents to have raised such a, pardon my language, self-righteous brat is not only disappointing, but also unbelievable. The fact that Zephyr could change her views so drastically and so fast because of a book shows very little respect for and trust in their parents. Nothing, the youngest child, is too young to understand the situation, and in that regard it makes sense for him to follow suit with his older sister, since he blindly trusts her and doesn't have the brain capacity yet to form his own opinions. Hiccup and Astrid then resort to this pageant idea instead of actually communicating with their children. I understand this choice for the sake of the plot and to create some sort of main event to take place. However, I wish we would have seen a wiser and more patient side of Hiccup and Astrid as parents. They had potential to do so well, but the parents we are presented with in this short film are bland and passive. In the hidden world, we are reintroduced to the Fury family, and in my opinion, one of the strongest scenes in the whole short film takes place here. Toothless draws a very accurate picture of his feelings, a drawing of Hiccup and himself. Toothless then draws a line connecting the two, clearly stating his desires for his whole family to see. The Light Fury's reaction is that of pure disgust and quickly dismisses the idea entirely. This whole scene makes the Light Fury appear like a controlling hag that lures Toothless in with her feminine charm to make him forget who he really is. Toothless was thinking about his old friend, but gets distracted when the Light Fury shoves her butt in his face. Not a positive or healthy depiction of their relationship at all, but rather makes Toothless seem like he is submissive to the Light Fury and follows her blindly because she has a pussy. The Nightlights are clearly divided into two camps, the one smart one and the two idiots. These baby dragons, who have never seen the outside world or flown outside alone, takes off to find a human they have never met or seen before. Or have they? This brings us to the biggest oopsie of the whole short film. Whether or not the film takes place before or after the last scene in the hidden world, the story doesn't make sense at all. If we imagine that Homecoming takes place after the hidden world altogether, it creates a huge conflict with the core premise of the story. Zephyr would have seen dragons then. She would know that they are friendly since she tried riding them. Then if Homecoming is supposed to take place before the ending of the hidden world, before any of the children have met dragons, then why would the two children be so surprised and scared of Toothless at the end of the third movie? If Zephyr had already met Toothless in Homecoming, why would she act like he's a stranger in the hidden world? This story is a half-baked mess and doesn't add up in any timeline. Anyway, back to the Nightlights. These baby dragons fly across the ocean with no idea where to go, yet they somehow arrive at Newburgh unscathed and manages to find Hiccup and know right away that he is the one they're looking for, even though they have no experience in identifying humans since they have most likely never seen any in their life. Also, I forgot to mention this one scene where children are throwing rocks at Stoic's memorial statue. In what world does anyone want to see that? Why would anyone think that's a good idea to show us? Stoic was a character a lot of us cared about, and now we're left with these Burkean brats disgracing his memory? Why are all children of Burke complete brats nowadays? Seems like a Hiccup and Astrid aren't the only ones failing at parenting. Which brings me to yet another important miss in this story. Where is Volca? The film mentions Stoic and how much both Hiccup and Gobber misses him, yet there's no mentioning of Volca. If she isn't dead, then where is she? If she is dead, why isn't she mentioned? Volca is a very important part of Hiccup's life. How could they just leave her completely out of this story? She's a grandmother now, for Thor's sake. I'm calling it. They killed off Volca. She's dead, guys. They killed her off with no explanation. The movie is called Homecoming, yet no one is coming home. The dragons arrive at Newburgh, yes, but Newburgh is not their home. The hidden world is. They don't even get to interact with anyone, except that one Toothless and Zephyr moment. Toothless and Hiccup don't even get to reunite. We get this awkward rescue sequence where Toothless catches Hiccup from falling to his death. But he's all covered up and doesn't recognize the fact that Toothless is right in front of him. A true disgrace when you call your short film Homecoming and the most important characters don't even get to greet each other. The whole moment with Zephyr and Toothless is so desperately trying to capture what Hiccup and Toothless once shared, but it is rudely interrupted by the control freak Light Fury who wants Toothless to return home as quickly as possible, and cheats us out of a potential reunion between Hiccup and Toothless as well as a proper greeting to Zephyr. This short film ultimately neuters Toothless. The so-called King of Dragons, the Alpha, reduced to nothing more than a subject of his controlling mate. The only knowing interaction Hiccup gets with Toothless is when he sees him fly away in the sky, not even looking back to acknowledge his best friend. The dragons drop off some glowing poop at Hiccup's house, eats his fish and takes off. That's pretty much it. that's the ending. Astrid does say something worth mentioning at the end. Maybe it's our turn to visit them, insinuating that the ending of the hidden world hasn't happened yet. And if that's the case, then why was Toothless hostile towards them when he landed on the boat? Why did Nothing and Zephyr act like they had never seen dragons before? If this homecoming plot took place before the conclusion of the hidden world, it makes it obsolete. In conclusion, Homecoming is an awful mess with no sense of direction or consistency. A shameless money grab that cashes in on people's love for cute dragons and beloved characters. In my opinion, this short film, which might very well be the last installment in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, is an insult to the whole franchise. If you want a Snuggle Talk special, I recommend you watch the previous one from 2011 titled Gift of the Night Fury. It blows this thing straight out of the water. It's sad to see How to Train Your Dragon just downgraded to something so mediocre and bland when the movies were something so great and unique, groundbreaking even. It's disappointing and just not impressive. I have very high respect for this franchise, but enough is enough, and I can't just blindly accept everything that comes out of it. Homecoming is not good. The short film is not good. It has a ridiculous title, a mediocre plot that doesn't tie in with the rest of the story. It's so out of sync with everything else, and it's really a shame. Now, I'm gonna remind you, I did not make this review to just tear you down or make you feel bad about liking the movie. If you enjoyed this short film, good for you. You have every right to. We all have our different opinions, and I would like to thank you for listening to mine. Whether you enjoyed it or not, I appreciate your time. If you watched the short film, let me know what you think. And also feel free to check out the counterpart to this review, which is much more positive. So maybe if you didn't enjoy this, you will probably enjoy that one. I thank you again, and hopefully I will see you again. Happy Snuggle Talk to all of you. So long, Dragon Riders!